Hello and welcome back to Daily Sage Insights. I'm so glad you're here. Today we're tackling a powerful and transformative topic that affects everyone at some point in their lives: anger management and how to deal with emotions. It's natural to feel frustrated, angry, or overwhelmed by emotions, but sometimes these feelings can take control and we find ourselves saying or doing things we regret. So how do we take back control? How do we learn to navigate our emotions in a healthy way? Especially anger, which can feel like an overwhelming force that takes over our minds and bodies. In this video, we're going to explore practical strategies for managing anger, combined with timeless wisdom from philosophers who've spent centuries reflecting on emotions and how we relate to them. You'll hear real-life examples too, because learning to deal with emotions is not just about theory. It's about practice, growth, and understanding. Stick with me through this journey, and you'll gain valuable insights on how to work through anger and emotions in ways that are empowering, peaceful, and long-lasting. So grab a comfortable seat, take a deep breath, and let's begin. Before we dive into the strategies for anger management, let's first take a moment to understand what anger actually is. Anger is a natural human emotion, just like happiness, fear, and sadness. It's an instinctive response to perceived injustice, frustration, or threat. But here's the thing: anger, like all emotions, isn't inherently bad. It's how we react to anger that determines whether it serves us or harms us. The ancient Greek philosopher Aristotle once said, "Anybody can become angry. That is easy. But to be angry with the right person, to the right degree, at the right time, for the right purpose, and in the right way, that is not within everybody's power, and is not easy." What Aristotle is getting at is that anger, when channeled properly, can be a catalyst for change, a signal that something isn't right in our lives. But when uncontrolled, it can destroy relationships, cloud our judgment, and cause unnecessary harm. So how do we start to work with anger instead of against it? How do we manage it in a way that benefits our growth rather than letting it control us? Many philosophers have reflected on the nature of emotions and how to cultivate emotional intelligence. For example, Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, taught that we should focus on what is within our control and let go of what is not. Anger often arises when we feel that something or someone is out of our control. But Epictetus encouraged us to remind ourselves, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This wisdom is essential when it comes to anger management. We can't always control the actions of others or the circumstances around us, but we can control how we respond. This shift in perspective can be revolutionary. Instead of reacting impulsively when anger arises, we can pause, reflect, and choose how to respond, calmly, intentionally, and thoughtfully. The great philosopher Seneca, another Stoic, had a powerful insight on anger. He wrote, "Anger, if not restrained, is frequently more hurtful to us than the injury that provokes it." This is a critical piece of advice. Anger doesn't just harm others, it harms us. It clouds our judgment, distorts our thoughts, and prevents us from making clear decisions. If we can pause and recognize the harm anger causes, we can choose a healthier way forward. So the first lesson from these philosophers is clear. We can choose how to respond to anger. It doesn't have to control us, but what tools can we use to make that choice? Now that we've gained some philosophical insight, let's talk about practical steps you can take when anger arises. Remember, the goal isn't to suppress or deny your emotions, but to work with them in a way that's constructive. Pause and breathe. When you feel anger rising, the first step is to pause. This can be as simple as taking a few deep breaths. Inhaling deeply allows your body to relax and gives your mind a moment to reset. The philosopher Marcus Aurelius, another Stoic thinker, reminded himself daily to take a step back from his emotions and to ask himself, what is this event? Is it an opportunity to practice virtue? This reflection allows us to move from reactive to reflective. It's not about repressing anger, but about creating a space where you can choose your response. Acknowledge your anger without judgment. Sometimes we get angry with ourselves for being angry, and this only makes things worse. Instead, acknowledge your anger without self-criticism. Recognize it as a natural emotional response, not a flaw in your character. As Buddhist teachings suggest, We should observe our emotions like a cloud passing through the sky. Simply watch them come and go without attachment or judgment. This practice helps you disassociate from the anger, preventing it from consuming you. Ask yourself the right questions. Instead of letting your anger direct you, take a moment to ask, why am I angry? What's really going on here? Often, anger stems from deeper feelings of fear, hurt, or frustration. By asking these questions, you can get to the root of the emotion, which helps you address it more constructively. If someone cuts you off in traffic, is your anger about the event itself, or is it about feeling disrespected or out of control? By understanding the root cause, you can navigate your emotions more effectively. Express yourself calmly and clearly. Once you've processed your anger, it's important to express it, but not impulsively. Take the time to articulate your feelings calmly and clearly, without aggression. In Confucian philosophy, there's a strong emphasis on clear communication and understanding others. When you express your feelings with clarity, you foster better communication and reduce the likelihood of escalating the situation. Practice forgiveness. Holding on to anger only hurts you in the long run. The philosopher Mahatma Gandhi said, "The weak can never forgive." Forgiveness is the attribute of the strong. Forgiveness doesn't mean condoning poor behavior. It means freeing yourself from the weight of anger. When you forgive, you release the emotional grip anger has over you and create space for peace and healing. Let's look at a real-life example to see how these strategies play out in practice. Meet Sarah, a 35-year-old professional who frequently felt frustrated and angry in her workplace. Small things, like a colleague interrupting her in meetings or feeling overlooked for a promotion, would trigger intense emotional reactions. At first, Sarah would bottle up her anger, but eventually it would erupt in passive-aggressive comments or snapping at co-workers. After seeking advice from a mentor, Sarah decided to try some of the techniques we discussed today. The first step was taking a pause when she felt anger rising. Instead of reacting in the moment, she would step outside or take a deep breath. Over time, she realized that her anger was often rooted in a sense of insecurity or fear of being overlooked. She began to address these deeper emotions, express her concerns in meetings, and even started practicing forgiveness towards her colleagues. Slowly, Sarah found that she was no longer controlled by her anger. She felt more empowered, more at peace, and, ironically, more respected by those around her. As we've explored today, anger is a natural emotion, but it doesn't have to control us. By practicing the wisdom of great philosophers and implementing practical tools like mindfulness, reflection, and clear communication, we can transform how we deal with our emotions. Anger, when managed well, can be a tool for growth, understanding, and change. Thank you so much for joining me today on Daily Sage Insights. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and comment below with your thoughts or strategies for managing anger. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more insightful content. Let's continue the journey of self-reflection, mindfulness, and growth together. Until next time, be kind to yourself and remember, you are more than your emotions.